Glam Dolls, and welcome back to our channel. Hi, how are ya? I thought I would enter our show today just like Jeffree Star, since he is the star of our show anyway. I wish he was really here, but we're not even on his radar yet. So, I am going to be showing you guys and going through the new Jeffree Star Morphe brushes that he just collaborated with. And mind you, Jeffree doesn't collaborate with anybody because he has his own brand. He doesn't need to collaborate with anyone. And he also came out with a pink version of the Morphe beauty blenders, or beauty sponges, sorry. I'm going to be trying these out today, and also we're going to be doing a lot in this video today, just FYI. So in this video, we are also going to be playing with the James Charles palette that has been flying off the shelves, just FYI. I know that my Morphe, at least here in Fresno, California, and I know I've been seeing it all over other stores in California, so I'm assuming if you have a Morphe store in your town, they've restocked on these as well. So if you haven't gotten it yet and you've been like me wanting to try to get it, but it keeps flying out of stock, you might want to try to run down there now and pick one up. So that's what I did. So we're going to be playing with that today, and we are going to be creating a Valentine's Day look and playing with all this stuff at the same time. But before I do that, I do want to go ahead and show you guys the brushes, because I don't want to get them all dirty. I was going to start using them and then realized I might want to show them off before I get them all dirty. So let's do that now. You guys have seen this. I think the packaging is so cute. The brush pack retails for, I believe, $49, and the brush trio is $16. So first and foremost, the bag that it comes in is so freaking cute. It's just this little plastic bag that says Morphe Jeffree Star on it, and it's got this nice little holographic coloring striping on it. It is just like a cheap plastic, but it's really cute, and it's actually a pretty decent size. And it has the 7 brushes in here, which I will go through one by one. They all have the same like little unicorn tip on it, and they have kind of like this diamond plated plastic handle on them. I think they're all synthetic. So here they are here in all their glory. I actually did use one of them earlier to dust off some powder, but I'll go through all this with you guys right now. So this is JS1, and this is called the Size Queen brush, and we love a good size queen. You know, it's always good to be a size queen in your life. Don't be afraid of it. This one is supposed to be like the foundation brush, though I like my foundation brushes a little bit denser, but this one is actually pretty nice, and it is really soft. The first thing I do want to say about the packaging, though, they do remind me a lot of the Wet n Wild brushes. People have already said that, and I absolutely agree. The handle, it feels like a very cheap plastic. So please don't come for me, because we all know I love Jeffree Star, but it feels like a cheap plastic. But I know it's to keep the price point down. They're very, very beautiful, but it's a cheap plastic. It is what it is. And even though this is a cheaper plastic, this part right here is like, it feels metal, and the brush hair on it for synthetic, this is probably one of the softest synthetic brushes I have ever felt. They're so flipping soft. Okay, so the next brush is the JS2 Point Blank Precision brush, and I've actually used this one, and it's the only one that actually came with like a hard, like, plasticky one. All the rest came with, like, the little, you know, just cheap little plasticky things, but this one came to really keep it in place so it didn't bend, because it is a lot longer, and I did use it to sweep off some powder under my eye earlier, and then I realized, bitch, please hold your horses, do not use them yet. You still need to share them with the world. So that's why it's a little bit dirty at the end. This one is good for me, like, to put on my finishing powder and sweep off bake, which is what I would use it for, or to apply blush, or even, no, maybe not bronzer, but it would be good for blush because it's so light and like really flimsy, and like I said, sweeping off bake and sweeping off excess powder, and maybe dusting a light finishing powder over. And again, really, really soft, just like the first one. Next, this is the JS3, which is the iconic contour brush. This is actually pretty dense, that this would be really good. It's dense enough that if you wanted to use a cream contour too, this would be pretty good to buff it out with, or buff your concealer out with as well. And next we have the JS4 brush, which is the perfect highlighting brush. I cannot wait to try this one out. I love brushes like this to highlight with, so I am super excited. So next we're getting into the eye brushes, and this is the JS5, and the JS5 is called the Crease Queen. It's really soft, and I love the ones that come to a point like this, because you can get right up in that crease and get really precise, but it's like fluffy and rounded out enough that you can really get in there and blend everything out. We have JS6, which is the Rule Blender brush. So I don't know if you can tell on here, this one can be used for so much. So you can actually, I have 2 other brushes like this that I love a lot. It's kind of flat, but it's very fluffy at the same time, and it kind of comes to a point and is tapered. So you can use this for so much. You can use this to pack on your eyeshadow, but it's soft enough and again fluffy enough that you can blend out as well. These brushes are so great when you want to take just a couple of brushes on the go. Take that nice crease brush and this brush, and seriously, these are really the only 2 you're gonna really need. Then last but not least, we have the, well, let's see what he calls it. It's an eyebrow brush to me, but this is the JS7 Double Trouble brush. And it's so funny because I just went to Morphe and I just bought 3 eyebrow brushes like a couple weeks ago because mine was starting to like fray a little bit. And one of the ones I bought is literally the exact like Morphe version of this one. And I love the spoolie on it. I like really soft spoolie, so it doesn't like get rid of like all the work that I just did, but it still blends out nicely, you know what I mean? Some of them can be very harsh, where I feel like they go in and they just pull out all the product, whereas this is really nice. It's going to blend everything out and not be too harsh. And this one is nice and thin, and it does come to a really sharp point. If you want a good eyebrow brush but didn't want to buy the whole pack, let me just show you guys. This is the M158, and this is basically just the cute pink version of this one. So I actually have pretty high hopes for the Jeffree Star brushes, and you're going to see me put them to work in just a bit with our eye look. So we'll see if they're actually worth getting. If they restock, I'm sure they will. Morphe likes to make money, and so does Jeffree. They ain't stupid. And then we have also the Morphe and Jeffree Star Beauty Sponge Trio. It comes with 3 sponges, 2 of the smaller ones and 1 of the larger ones. The pink one from Jeffree, I don't know if maybe just because it's new, No, they're the same exact denseness. One is just obviously pink and one is red. They are literally the exact same size. There is no difference whatsoever in these. So it's just really, you're just getting the Jeffree Star pink one. So I'm excited to get the little tiny ones. These are so great for me for when I set my under eyes and, you know, just get a little powder on a little wet one and just really get in there and set that down. So I'm excited to at least get these. That was the Jeffree Star collection with Morphe. I'm going to go ahead and get into the look. I'm going to go ahead and use this palette and these brushes, and we're going to go create some fucking magic. See you guys in a minute. Okay, so we're going to do this voiceover style today because, you know, if I do a talk get ready with me, we're going to be here forever. So I'm just using my makeup eraser, whatever, concealer, whatever the hell it's called by Maybelline, and using this just to prime my eyes and my eyebrows. And then I'm just going to set it with my Morphe setting powder. And I'm using the filter 1, the translucent. And we're going to use the Jeffree Star number 7 brow brush and see how this baby performs. And so far, I'm loving it. It's creating nice, straight, sharp lines and isn't getting all wonky. Or, you know, if you have an eyebrow brush that's not stiff enough, it gets really wonky and doesn't create these nice, perfect lines like you would like. But this one is so perfect. And I already knew it would be because I already have the Morphe version of this brush already. But you never know. And so I'm going to go ahead and set it with my ABH setting powder, or the brow powder. And this is how I do my eyebrows normally anyway. They're not pretty or perfect, but then we go in and cut it up. And I didn't want to create the little brow hairs. This brush is actually not thin enough for how I create my brow hairs. Believe it or not, I'm like really picky with my brushes for my eyebrows. I use 3 different eyebrow brushes to create my eyebrows normally. I'm crazy like that. And now we're going to go in and highlight the brow bone with the James Charles palette in the color Ring Light. And it's very pigmented right off the bat. I was actually pretty surprised by it. And then I'm going to go ahead and start on the eyes. And we're going to use Pinkity Drinkity, which is this light pink. And unfortunately, this color has like no color to it whatsoever. But it is a soft matte pink. But this one surprised me. Skip was like, whoa. And I barely laid my brush onto it, and look how much pigment it has already. Like, imagine if I actually swirled my brush in there, like how crazy it would get. And I just wanted it to kind of be light and create more of a transition, since Pinkity Drinkity did not do that for me. And then I'm going to go back in right now and kind of just build it up in the crease and, you know, go from there. But I will say this color and the rest of the pinks had a lot of controversy around it with staining and things like that. I did not have that problem, but as you can see, I also lay down a thick layer of concealer so that I don't have staining problems. And now I'm going to take Love That in the crease with a pencil brush and just deepen that up just a bit. By the way, the Jeffree Star blending brush that I did use, I loved it. It went in, it blended out really well, and it also precisely got into my crease. As you can see, it's blending everything out perfectly here. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut my crease using the Morphe concealer. I personally don't like the new Morphe concealer for under my eyes, but I do like it for cutting my crease and cleaning up my eyebrows because it is so full coverage and it dries down really fast. Unfortunately, underneath my eyes, it just, it cracks. I don't know. It just is so ugly underneath my eyes. So I just use it to cut everything and clean up eyebrows. And then I'm going to use Sister, which is this champagne-y pink color, to set that down and create some light there. And then I'm going to go back in with Love That using the Jeffree Star brow pencil and just line up, define the line from where it was cut and make it a little more precise and a little more bold. And then we're going to go ahead and take this little pencil brush from Morphe and just blend and blend and blend that little line out so it's not so harsh. And then I'm going to go underneath the eye and just use this e.l.f. brush to take, skip, and run that as kind of a light transition underneath the eye. And then take this little shader brush by Morphe and run Love That and marry it up into the top. And now I finally get to use my Tatcha primer that I just bought. You guys, I have not used this primer yet. I have been dying to try it. It's just, their products are so damn expensive, you guys. And it comes with this little like scooper thing, and you just take the tiniest little bit out, like a pea size, and I just rubbed it on my fingers, and I even used a small amount, and I still think that was even too much. You need the tiniest bit, and I'm just pressing that into my skin. It does make it feel very, very velvety, but like almost too matte for me. And I'm using my Dior Forever foundation, and I'm going to use the Jeffree Star brush, or foundation brush, the Size Queen brush on half of my face, and then I'm going to use the Jeffree Star Beauty Blender on the other half. And so far, this is probably the first and only brush I've ever used that does not create streaks on my face. Like, even the best brushes, I normally have to like be careful and really stipple in. That brush literally blended it out flawlessly. I literally think that's going to become my favorite foundation brush. So I'm really happy I got it, but really sad that I just fell in love with it. And if I ever need to repurchase another one, I won't be able to. Now, I will say this foundation is very drying, and I like this foundation better with a beauty blender. I normally buy this foundation for the summertime. I accidentally bought the wrong one. I meant to buy the new Dior Ultra Glow one, but grabbed the wrong one, and I decided to keep it instead of taking it back. And I will say it looks better on the beauty blender side, and it just sets into my skin a lot more and looks more like a second skin, whereas when you apply with a brush, it looks a little heavier handed. So I'm just going back over with a beauty blender on both sides and adding where I need some more coverage, which is I have some beauty spots on my cheeks that I need to hide. So I'm just adding a little bit more coverage there. And it ended up blending this out flawlessly. I'm not a big fan of my Morphe beauty blenders, but I will say it looked really good this time around, so I may give them another chance. And I'm just going back in with an assload of this concealer. I love this concealer so much, but I use it to highlight as well. So that's why I'm putting so much on, because I can't really do a lot of powder highlighting over this foundation because it's so dry. So that's why I'm trying to create a little bit of highlighting with the concealer instead. And I'm just using these little baby ones. I'm using the one that was really, really soft. Like I said, I had inconsistencies with the little tiny beauty blenders, and I was just like not understanding why one was so soft and one was so dense, but I used the soft one to blend out, and now I'm using the dense one in the Morphe Pro Filter Fluidity Powder #1, and I'm just using that to set underneath my eyes and like right by my nose where I do get oily through the day. And then I'm going to take my other one that is the Pro Filter #3, which has some color to it, and I'm just going to go over and do a light little brush of it over the rest of my face just to kind of set it down. And I'm talking the lightest little tiny bit so that I don't dry out too much. And now I'm trying out the new Maybelline City Bronzer, and I got the lightest color in the number 100, and I think I actually may have found my new favorite bronzer in the whole world. And now I'm going to take the contour brush that was in the Jeffree Star palette, or in the Jeffree Star brush pack, and I'm using the Pretty Vulgar bronzer that I got in my BoxyCharm this month. I have decided I do not like the Pretty Vulgar for a contour. This is not my color. It's too harsh and I don't think it blends out so well, so I'm just kind of packing it on with this contour brush. I don't really like the contour brush for contouring my cheeks. I have realized this is not it for me. I normally like a really thin angled brush so I can get right into those lines. And then I take a big bronzer brush and will normally go and blend everything out like I'm doing here. This is my favorite bronzer brush. I'll have to put the number up on the screen, but this is another Morphe brush. And then I'm taking the Jeffree Star highlighter brush, and literally this is my favorite brush in that whole freaking pack. The way it just distributed my freaking highlighter is amazing. And by the way, I'm using Glazed Donut by Nikki Tutorials and Ofra. This is one of my favorite wintertime highlighters just because it is like blindingly white for when I'm blindingly white. And then I'm going to use the Jeffree Star, oh God, this is the number 2. I don't remember what he called it, but it's the number 2. And the Laura Geller blush that I got in BoxyCharm a while back. And then I'm going to go back to my eyes and I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty red liquid lipstick, and I'm going to use it as an eyeliner. If you didn't know, liquid lipsticks serve 2 purposes, you guys. You can use them as eyeliners or liquid lipsticks. So you can really actually use them for a lot of things. Eyeshadow, whatever. So I'm using that as my liner for my eyes. And then I'm going to go back and line my lash line, my waterline on top and bottom with a black liner. And this is, I don't even remember, this is just one I got in a BoxyCharm years ago. And then I'm trying out the new L'Oreal mascara that is so gimmicky. So if you stand it straight up, that's supposed to give you length. So when you have it straight like that, it's supposed to give you length, and then you put it back in and you push the arm down, which you'll see me do here, and it's supposed to curl the lashes. Now, I thought that was so gimmicky, and I'm like, I've tried it a couple times and nothing happened for me when I turned the little knob down. But this time, I actually see a difference when I play it back on film. So I have it down and I'm just pushing my lashes up. And you'll see here when I do a side by side, it's hard to see because I have no lashes, but it actually made a difference. But I'm still putting lashes on anyway. And I'm using the Morphe Sunset Boulevard lashes and just popping those babies on. Today was like a Morphe everything for the most part, with the exception of like a couple products. And then I'm taking the Ofra highlighter and just highlighting my inner corners. And then we are going to use that same Fenty red, which is my favorite red in the whole world, and just top off with some lipstick. Literally the most comfortable, and I'm so glad she's coming out with more colors in these because besides Jeffree Stars, these are my favorite. And just for the theme of Valentine's Day, I'm just going to pop a little tiny heart beauty mark right underneath my eyes just so it's nice, festive, fun, and cute. And you can do so much more with it. You can draw a little bow and arrow through it. But here is the final look on this. It came out so cute. I wanted to do something fun, but still wearable. You know what I mean? So many of these fun looks end up not being wearable, but this one I would actually wear to like a Valentine's party. Or I'd even wear out. Okay, dolls, so here is the final look for our first fun time Valentine's Day look, and the final review on the Jeffree Star Morphe brushes, and kind of my finishing thoughts on the James Charles palette. I'm just going to add those in there since this palette's been out forever, so you guys already kind of know the controversy. Like I said, anytime Morphe's brought up, there's controversy. So I'm going to throw my 2 cents in, even though I'm late to this party. Let's go ahead and first start with the Jeffree Star brushes. The one brush out of here that kind of really stole the show for me, believe it or not, is this highlighter brush. I love this highlighter brush. It just applied my highlighter so perfect. My other one really just packs my highlighter on there. My other highlighter brush is a Beau Cachice brush that I got in Ipsy, and I've been holding on to it forever. And that one really packs pigment on there, whereas this one just gives me so much more control as to where like I want to apply it. It's firm, but it's soft at the same time. The angle of it, I can just draw down the bridge of my nose. I love this freaking highlighter brush. Overall, for $49, I would say that these brushes are definitely a good price. So the price point on these breaks down to an average of $7 a piece. I found my Wet n Wild brushes that are like this, and they literally feel exactly the same, like the same plastic and everything. And those, if you bought those separately, those I think were like $8 or $10 a piece, some of them. So they ranged from $5 to $10 a piece in their collection. So I feel like the price point is dead on where it should be, but I think these are better than a Wet n Wild one. I think the synthetic hairs on this are way softer than your Wet n Wild brush. Yes, the handles may be plastic like it, but they're still so cute. The sponges are $16, which is a steal, as you know. The beauty blenders are $20, and this one works freaking phenomenal. So I am overall 2 thumbs up. Definitely think it's worth a buy. They're especially good for a starter, for somebody starting out getting into makeup. If you don't want to spend a ton on brushes, that would be your one. This one is a really good one, and the bag is just so cute. So I'm definitely going to get a lot of use out of these brushes. And then the James Charles palette, I used the controversial colors, not just because it's Valentine's Day. That was a big part of it, and I wanted to create a Valentine's look, but also because these are the ones that girl went on saying irritated her eyes, they stained her eyes, they did this and that. And yes, everyone's skin is so different. Reds stain, period, dot. Like I was saying, Modern Renaissance stains the crap out of my eyes. And when I wear my contacts, because I have to wear contacts to see, I can't use Modern Renaissance because it literally somehow bleeds into my eyes and turns my contacts pink and red. So that one is the worst. I have not had any issues with these, and I actually did kind of do this look last night, like as a run through, just to see how it would look, if it was worth doing, before I filmed it. And I took this off and I had no staining. So I don't know if that's because I put a concealer down first, so I have a little bit thicker of a layer in between. But I don't know, if you wear a red lipstick, your lips are going to be stained. You know what I mean? Staining is not, I don't know, it just doesn't bother me. I don't know. If it bothers you, I guess it's up to the person. Don't buy it then. But I didn't have any issues with it. I haven't had very much use with this palette yet. These are the only colors that I've used out of that palette. But so far, I freaking love it. And I am going to be playing with this palette quite a bit. obviously first we used it for the fun Valentine's Day look. So coming up this week, you guys, I am going to be doing a look that is really just my all-out glam, what I'm going to be glamming up for Valentine's Day. And I wanted to do something fun, like I said, and just, you know, something wearable fun, though. Like, you could still wear this look. I would wear this look. But for my date night glam, I'm going to do that, and I will have that up this week. Also, I wanted to throw in my opinion, just since this was the first time I used it on a video. The Tatcha primer that everyone's been raving about, I don't get the hype. It's a good primer, but I don't get the hype. The packaging is really, really luxurious. It's a good primer, but I just don't get the hype. I have really dry skin, and it didn't blur my pores for me, to be honest. You know what blurred my pores today is that Morphe setting powder. Like, the only thing I did different today versus my look yesterday, and yesterday my pores were showing huge, and I used the Tatcha primer, was that Morphe setting powder. So maybe in conjunction with everything, it looks good, but the Tatcha primer did nothing to blur my pores for me, but I will say it did help my makeup last a lot longer. So in theory, it's a good primer. I haven't found much on the market to blur my pores except that Morphe freaking powder, and I love it so much. That one's worth a buy, but don't spend $52 on that primer. There's good primers out there that are cheaper. As a matter of fact, the one that it reminds me of the most, that I actually used to love and wear all the time, and I still do from time to time, the Tatcha primer reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. See, I'm almost out. I've got like maybe one pump left. But yeah, this is what it reminds me of. And that one is much, much, much cheaper. So save your dollars. Try the e.l.f. one or get the Optical Illusion one. It's not really worth the hype in my book. It's a good primer, but I'm not spending $50 something on it again. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this review tutorial. This is probably 100 hours long, but you know me, I ramble on. That is all I have for today. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys again in a couple of days. I am literally going to be here all week long. You are going to see me more than once this week. Yay! All right, love you guys. Bye.